All right, boys. Welcome back to another video by yours truly. Shout outs to Gacha Smack. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We're going to be talking about Arknights Endfield today. I played for about 2.5 hours on the beta, and I kind of wanted to give you guys just some honest thoughts. We're going to yap here for a little bit. The reason why I wanted to give you my thoughts is because I have no agenda in playing this game. I have no agenda trying to get good with this company. And I also have no agenda to want to put this game down. So I hope you guys can trust me that I'm going to give you honest feedback, honest thoughts, just my opinions, just my experiences on my experience for 2.5 hours of this beta versus the alpha that I played about a year or so ago. Let's get this out of the way. Massive improvement from the first alpha. Absolutely wondrous job. Hypergriff did a very good job of taking player feedback from the first alpha and implementing it into the beta. I think they did a fantastic job. And let's talk about the combat, which was my biggest gripe of the first test. The combat has been completely fixed. I really enjoy it. It feels very snappy. It feels very intentional. It feels very smooth. The 3-character experience felt very good. I can only imagine it gets better with 4 characters. I do believe that this is most likely going to be a game where you are just going to have one main character and 3 following you, using their support abilities, and then you using their active abilities. I don't think there will be too many swapping. If there is, I'll be pleasantly surprised. However, I don't really mind this. The hardest thing about the combat, and I do mean the hardest thing, is the dodge. The dodge is going to take you guys some getting used to. It is very precise. Perhaps the most precise dodge that you need in Gacha gaming. You have to be so precise. It's more precise than Wuthering Waves. It's more precise than Zenless Zone Zero. This is a tight frame to hit that perfect dodge and avoid damage in this game. When you are lower level than these mobs, you are going to fucking feel it. But overall, the combat experience feels very good. I have very minor gripes. It appears that you have an energy bar to where you can choose what abilities to use until it's depleted, then it slowly recharges one by one, and then you can choose one ability to use, and then it goes on cooldown again. Rather than everything recharging at its own rate, it's kind of like you recharge a token to use one ability, and then you wait for that token to recharge, then you auto-attack, and then you dodge, and your characters are auto-attacking, and characters can take damage while they're not the main character, so you're going to have to make sure to run healers and all that shit, this, that, and the other. But overall, I think the combat is in a spot where I would be sufficiently pleased if that is how it was when it went live. That's my honest thoughts. I think the combat is a good enough spot to go live. However, if you do want the casuals to feel a little bit more safe, maybe we make the perfect dodge just a little bit easier to execute, but that's just my opinion. Okay, it was very, very, very tight. And as a player who's beaten Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, Elden Ring, Bloodborne, I mean, I beat Orphan of Kaz and Bloodborne on my very first attempt at half HP. Even me, I'm saying, damn, that dodge frame is really, really small. Like, it is really, like, it's smaller than Dark Souls. Like, it is a very small frame to dodge. But after some getting used to, I will say, I was executing it pretty frequently, pretty easily. However, I understand that I'm better than 99% of the player base based on what I've done as a gamer. I mean, I game for a professional living. I'm worried about the casuals in this game. The first hour to hour and a half of story is, I would say, the second best of all of the big gachas. I think Zenless Zone Zero's first hour is still better. However, Arknights' first hour is incredibly strong. Very, very, very good. Very dynamic. It just puts you right in the fucking game. And things are very good. They're very dynamic. I don't want to spoil anything. The characters are great. They're very cute. Once Andre the Owl gets introduced, it just really starts to suck now, doesn't it? Andre the Owl fucking blows. I have to look at some fat, old, dumb, fucking retarded-ass bird explain to me shit I don't even want to fucking learn. I'll be real, man. I'm a dumb Western CC. I don't like learning. I just want the game to be intuitive enough to where I can just go in, smash buttons, and fucking beat it. That is not what I found for Arknights Endfield. This is a game where you are going to have to read. And you're going to have to read a lot. If you do not like reading, I do not recommend this game. You need to read. If you don't read, you are going to be confused. Let me give you an example, okay? I'm playing this fucking game. all right? And there's this box, right? Now, every other human in history knows that if you push a box, it goes forward. However, if you don't read the dialogue, and I have all of my footage of me learning this live in the game, the box will actually move faster if you run away from it. I would have never thought that in my entire life. Turns out if you push the box, it goes forward slowly. If you run away from the box, it follows you very quickly. So that was a little bit odd for me. But those are just some scenarios where you might run into some confusion if you don't read. As well as the systems that you have to set up in Arknights are very complicated. At least they were for me. Maybe they won't be for you. Maybe you're a super genius and maybe I'm just old and dumb now. There's a lot of things that you need to learn. The difference between a refining unit, an electrical node, an electrical power node, and a shredding unit, and a base station. And then connecting the wires from the base station to the electricity, and the electricity unit powers the electricity in a square. Rather than just taking the cord and plugging it directly in, you got to plug it into a thing next to it, and then it powers everything in that square. There's a lot of intricacies that you got to learn pretty quick. I would like to say, given more time, I think I could get used to it. But it's a lot of information to take in at launch. It's a lot. It's going to information overload you pretty quick. That being said, I do think the complexities could learn to some pretty enjoyable gameplay for those who really want to dive deep into a very complex system like was shown in front of me. I, however, am a dumb 31-year-old man where I just want to go, boobs, swing my sword. However, I look forward to the guide makers explaining this shit because I do think you all will get millions of views because for me, if I'm struggling, I have to assume, well, a lot of other people are going to be struggling as well. However, we'll wait for you guys to try that whenever this game fucking comes out. Some other minor gripes I have are when you break ores, it doesn't automatically go into your inventory. When you open chests, you have to go around and collect it all off the ground. I think we can just streamline the game a little bit. You open up a chest, all the rewards go into your inventory. You break an ore, it's going to go into your inventory. And the reason why that is because you know players are going to do that regardless. We don't really need to have this pointless monotony running around picking up all these little orbs and putting it in your pocket. No really need to do that. The exploration in the game so far is horrendous. And I use that word very specifically. It is the worst exploration any open world gacha. Yes, you can't double jump. You can only single jump. There is no glider. There is no flying, and you cannot climb walls. So exploration is going to be a pain in the fucking ass. Now, I'm assuming the reason why that is because they want you to use their zip line system, which I know does exist in the game, where you build a little node and you can collect it to another little zipline node and you can kind of scuttle around like that, but you have to set that up to actually use it. So the first time exploration experience will always feel lackluster when you cannot glide. And me personally, I'm not really excited for a zipline system. I'd rather just have the freedom to bust out my glider whenever I want. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. The game really does make your head hurt with how much reading there is. There's also a couple of mistranslations on the skill description of the UI, which could lead to some inconsistencies in what a player is expecting. For example, the bunny girl, the 5-star bunny girl, she has a ability called Maelstrom. However, in her Constellation, whatever the little upgrade is when you pull a dupe of them, it calls it Whirlwind. So it says your whirlwind damage will be increased by 100%, but the skill name is actually called Maelstrom. So I didn't really know what I was upgrading. I tested it and realized, oh, whirlwind meant Maelstrom. A little bit of a mistranslation of the text. Easy fix. Devs just go ahead and translate that shit up. Will be very cool. The UI in this game is pretty damn good. It's very nice to look at. It's very, very, very nice. It's very clean. There's some inconsistencies that I don't like, where you have to go to the banner system to then access the shop rather than just have the shop on the base UI. But I think it looks really cool. I think it looks really clean. The menus are fucking beautiful. The animations are fucking beautiful of all the characters, and everything looks really good. Some of the animations in combat are a little bit lackluster. It's missing that oomph. Maybe add in some Vine Boom sound effects, just something to make it hit that little bit harder. But yeah, it's kind of lacking a little bit of chutzpah, if you understand what I'm saying. That being said, once again, the combat does feel very good, just missing a little oomph to really make it feel snappy and feel responsive when you use that big move. The dialogue, for the most part, in the main story feels very good. The way that they kind of move the camera around, they express themselves, the scenery shots, the establishing shots, they're very nice, and it does feel very good, and it does make me feel engaged in the story until I have to talk to retards like Andre, which I'm really hoping that's just a small part of the game. I really don't like that character. They should have made him a hot girl. Yeah. Other than that, I think the game is honestly in a pretty good spot. If I were the devs, I would feel very comfortable launching the game as is. I do think that it is in a good spot. However, the gacha system is probably the biggest issue. There's a huge addendum on the gacha issue. So we're going to go ahead and talk about this. So the gacha system is so confusing that everybody is convinced that it sucks. I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I'm going to try to explain why I think it's okay and people are kind of freaking out over nothing. So the way the gacha system works is that once you've pulled 80 times, you're guaranteed the 6-star. But it's not the 6-star that you're pulling for. So you have to go to the 50-50. If you lose the 50-50, then at 120 rolls, you are guaranteed the 6-star rate up character at 120 pulls. However, the guarantee is only guaranteed one time every banner. So if you want to pull for Constellations, you are going to have to win the 50-50 every single time to get that character. Now, at surface value, that sounds really bad. Oh, and also that pity does not carry over to the next banner. So at surface level, that does look very bad. However, upon further inspection, the Constellations in this game don't really do that much. They don't. They're kind of inconsequential. I would probably say from the units that I've seen right now, maybe it makes a 40% damage difference base character versus a max Constellation character, which is a lot better than other units that have like a 380, 440% difference between base kit and max Constellation. A person in chat says, doesn't justify the system. You can say that, however, I do believe it can in a sense to where if players aren't really overly incentivized to get that E1, to get that E2, to get that E6, then getting the unit at 120 is actually 60 pulls better than its competition to ensure one base unit. And if that base unit does function standalone, then we can see that it's fine. However, and this is a big however, this is with the principle in mind that the Arknights devs don't want to make those constellations or dupe incentivization that high. Upon playing the game further, if they do incentivize players to want to get more dupes, it's the worst gacha system in gacha gaming. If it doesn't, and it remains very inconsequential whether it's E0 or E5, well, then it's the best. And we're going to have to see how this plays out. We're going to have to see the constellations and the dupe benefits of the characters from base level to max. So, there's a lot of will sees with this game so far. However, all things considered, I am hopefully optimistic for this game. I am. Where it is right now, from my experience, just a mere 2.5 hours of playing the beta, I would give my experience around a 6.8 to a 7.2, which to be honest is quite good because the first alpha, I would give it about a 3. This game has improved dramatically, and I will say I do enjoy this game currently in the beta more than I enjoy Genshin Impact. I do think I would prefer Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, and Wuthering Waves more than this. However, we're going to see how this changes, and also we're going to see how it feels once it goes live. Now, a lot of you guys might be saying a 7, that's low. A 7 would be low for other content creators who want to jerk your dick and feed you forced positivity. A 7 for me is quite good. I want to remind you, average is 5. 7 means above average, quite significantly. And also I said 7.2. This isn't an IGN 7, this is a Tectone 7. And I apologize that all of these overly positive fake bullshit CCs have ruined your scale, but a 7 for me is quite good, right? Quite good. However, Arknights devs, I think you're doing a great job. Continue to improve your game. The models in the game are the best in Gacha, I would say right now, and I look forward to seeing how I'll feel in the next beta or the official release. Provide feedback for all of you guys who have tried the game, and yeah, let them know what you think, because now is the time to voice your concerns and your complaints. But I do think it's heading in a good direction, and I would like to say I would be more than happy to play this game on launch, sponsored or unsponsored. Great job, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.